live. Welcome. Wait for everyone to get logged in here. I just shared this across the social media. Welcome back to Alkaline TV. This is Douglas Dennis, the Alkaline Chef. Today I'm here by the fireplace and we're going through 10 different alkaline herbal teas. So this is all alkaline tea. These are mostly herbs. They're all herbs. And I'm going to go through each of them and also do a Q&A. So stick around if you want to ask questions. If you're coming by on the replay of this, you can ask your questions in the comments and I'll answer them later. And if you're here live, then ask away and I will get to your questions as I finish the tea. So I also have some tea for myself and I also have some hot water. So let's get into it. We've got 10 different types of tea. We've got boiling water. We've got camera. We've got an audience. What more do we need? So I'm going to start going through these teas one at a time to show each and every one of them. And then I'm going to, when I run out of this one, I'm going to make one of them and drink it. But this is the 10th tea. So let's get in here. I'm going to log into YouTube and make sure that the comments are coming through. Welcome if you're just tuning in. Let me see in the comments if this is working and you can hear me and everything like that. So I'm going to check it out right now and make sure I can see comments before I go into it. And also if you're watching and you can hear me, give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can hear. So far, I don't see the link to this showing up. All right, there we go. All right. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, great. It's working. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's get into it. I might as well just start naming teas. By the way, I got these at the Dollar Tree. You might notice them. So these awesome little jars, instead of keeping tea in plastic or in a giant bag, I get these in bulk. And because I'm a wholesaler, so I have tons of them and I just put some a little bit at a time in the glass so that you don't have to open. If you have a large bag of it, you don't want to open it every single time that you pull one out just to keep it fresh. So these keep them pretty fresh and they were only $1. So that's a nice little tip there. Okay, this one is Elderflower. You might know about Elderberry, but this is the Elderberry flower. This is very, very good for some different things. And also I might as well say right at the beginning, legal disclaimer, I'm not a licensed medical doctor. This is not medicine for legal purposes, for legal sake. This is plants. It's just tea, it's just herbs. So I'm not making any medical recommendations or anything like that, just so we're all clear. If we're all clear, give me a thumbs up. All right, so elderflower is awesome. It tastes a little bit peppery, actually, but it is a little bit flowery, a little bit peppery, and it has a great taste. This is in some supplements I know for different women's issues, but I also drink it, so it's good for men as well. And I guess the next one we'll go right into, look at that, what do you think this one is? This is Elderberry. So, oh, they're sticking to the bottom. So these are, and these are rare these days and hard to find. They ran out for a while. If you watched my other video on what to stock up on before the winter, I put elderberries in there because they were out. The bulk supplier that I got a bunch of food from and stocked up on, which I have a video about that and a link to that as well. But they were out of elderberries, so I had to get some. And when I was getting some from another supplier, because I'm a wholesaler through a few different places, but I had them in my shopping cart online, and then the next day I went back, I didn't finish ordering, and I went back and they were gone. They were out of stock again. So elderberry is an interesting one. People are all over it these days, so if you see it, get it. And this is whole elderberry. It's not any kind of concoction made out of it. Because I know a lot of things say elderberry on the label. I could go on a rant about that one, which sometimes I do, but we'll just move on to the next tea. If you have any questions throughout this, let me know in the comments. And I'm keeping an eye on them as well. This is my favorite. Well, let's save my favorite one till the end, actually, because I might, if you know my favorite one already, guess in the comments. So if you think you know what my favorite one is, oops, sorry, I had to grab something off the table. If you think you know what my favorite tea is, comment, and I will. Oh man, nailed it. So I was just gonna say that you should already know this. Okay, let me get to this. You guys are the best. You actually pay attention. That's awesome. What is this one, actually? I think I know what this one is. This is called Linden Flower, but there's also some of the leaf in there as well. But they're little flowers. I don't know if you can see. There are little buds in there. This one is tasty. It tastes a little bit like green tea. It's very mild. It's not too strong or bitter. It has a very light kind of green tea flavor and appearance. Okay, here's another one. We're just going right through these. And then I'm gonna make some and drink it. So this one, I've had several different types. Oh, there's a sticker still on this. Ooh. If you know what this one is, you can smell it by its pungent aroma. And these are pretty big chunks. I've also gotten it that were much thinner roots, but it's a root, there's a hint. Does anyone know? This is valerian root, and it has quite an aroma. This one is good for, well, it's got a lot of iron in it, so it's just good in general because of that. But this, if you're trying to fall asleep, if you're trying to relax, this is a good one. It puts you to sleep. You only need about a half of a teaspoon of it in a tea ball, and that's about it. You can also take it in capsules, powdered, I've seen available, but a half a teaspoon in a cup of tea, and you should be starting to get sleepy by the end of the cup of tea. It's weird. It works, actually, surprisingly, and yeah, it makes your eyelids start closing. That's the kind of feeling you'll get. Very interesting. But it has a strong scent. Don't let the scent scare you away, honestly, because it smells kind of funky, but the taste is nice. The taste is subtle, a little sweet, earthy. Tastes earthy, a little bit sweet, but it smells pungent, but don't run away. You can kind of get scared off by that smell, but honestly, it's a good one. I think that's a good one. All right, what's next? Going right along here. Let's go to this one. This is full. I just filled it up. This one is. This is a root. Does it look familiar to any of you? Well, all roots look alike. This one is stinging nettle root. And And I think somewhere here I might have some stinging nettle. This is the root, and it is more of a light, subtle flavor as well. It's good, I like it, but it doesn't make that many cups of tea. Some of these you can brew and you can pour hot water over several times, and they'll make several cups of tea each just for like 1 teaspoon. This one, I feel like you can only really make like 1, maybe 2 cups, and then you need to switch it out. But other roots, you can make tea sometimes like all day. You could make tea like 4 times out of it. These ones not so much, but they're still really good and very good for you as well. Now let's check some of these. If you're just now tuning in, welcome. If you're here live, I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. I've got, oh, here's another one. Might as well talk about this one. Let's see, what was this one? Okay, this one is raspberry leaf. Raspberry leaf tea, and this is actually in a tea bag, but all these other ones are loose. It doesn't really make a difference. However, it just, as long as it's good quality, it's good quality. And if it's already in the bag, usually it's a tiny bit more expensive, but not really a big deal. So raspberry leaf, good one. But it's getting cold. But luckily I have my trusty boiling thing of water. I have it over here near me because I'm gonna make some more tea in a minute. So I'm gonna let you decide what tea to make, but I think I'm gonna make my favorite one. Maybe not. We've already been through a few of these. Let's see. If you're just tuning in, I've got several more though to go. Ooh, here's a good one. We just talked about this one, kind of. What do you think it is? Can you guess? I just mentioned it in the last minute. Okay, this one has a little bit of a sweet smell, but it just kind of smells like grass, like you were just mowing the lawn, which should give you a hint to what it is. Nobody's guessing? This is stinging nettle. I've heard this called the healthiest food in the world, actually. I've heard it claimed to be that, and I know it's up there, definitely, otherwise I wouldn't be having it in the video. But this has a lot of chlorophyll. It has a fresh flavor even though it's dried. But if you're feeling like you need some veggies, some vegetables, or if you feel kind of grungy inside, you feel like you need just something clean, like fresh and natural tasting. I'm trying to put that to words, but I get this urge, I get a craving for stinging nettle, and I can feel like when I need it. Maybe you had some oily food, or maybe you had something a little heavy. This can be nice to freshen you up from the inside out. And it tastes really good. It makes a dark green tea, and it's kind of a green tea-ish flavor. If you're into green tea, you should enjoy this. It's very, very natural tasting. Like I said, it smells like mowing the lawn because, for me, I grew up in the country. We had a huge, giant, enormous lawn that took hours to mow, and that was my job. At one point when I was a teenager, I would mow the lawn. Well, there's stinging nettle everywhere. So I smelled that all growing up. I never knew it was edible, and I probably wouldn't have liked it when I was a child anyway, but I love it now, and more importantly, my physical body loves it and needs it. And you'll feel better after drinking it. A few cups of that, it's a good boost. Freshen up. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Ooh, this is a good one for women. And I like it also. The reason I say it's for women is because I know that this is in some natural herbal supplements out there, alkaline, for women's health issues. And this is a good tea. You can, like I said, put it in a supplement, but let's take it out and smell it. Ooh, wow. It has a very mysterious smell, a little earthy, flowery, but it smells mysterious, and I like to call this the spice. It's a South Park reference, and actually that's a gross reference. Don't think about that too much. But this is Damiana. So you might have heard about this before. Have you ever tried this out? Let me know in the comments if you've tried this before. I enjoy it, and I know that it's a good one. And I know there are some women watching, so this is one of the things I would recommend for some people, depending on what's going on, but anyone could enjoy it. Let's move along. All right, we're going right through these. Got a couple of these left, and then I'm gonna make some tea and answer some questions if you have any. All right, let me try to remember what this one is. There's so many in front of me. This one, ooh, this is very flowery, smells like potpourri, smells like like my aunt's house or something, like I get a familiar smell out of this, and actually this has got to be used in potpourri because I definitely have smelled this often. But it's a really good tea as well. This is called, oh, I'm drawing a blank. See, I would have edit this out. My perfect memory is failing. Now, I do have a great memory, but sometimes live, that little bit of pressure. Although I don't get nervous live, sometimes I still make blunders. Spell it, please. Spell it? Which one? Which one do you want me to spell? And you know, I wonder if I even know the spelling. That's, I'm a good writer, but spelling is not necessarily my strong point. This one is Lily of the Valley. Oh, thank God, I thought I remembered that. I almost... All right, so yes, this is a very fragrant, flowery one. It makes a very subtle tea. It makes a light tea, and this one also is a little bit green tea-ish, but like I said, it has like a potpourri flowery smell. Definitely worth trying out. Someone commented, Radon commented, Egyptian licorice tea. Oh no, I have a bad experience with licorice tea. I hate to, I don't mean to be negative every time that you comment. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate your feedback. But for my other viewers, just to be honest, and that's what I'm here to do. That's why, if that's my strong point. Some people don't like me for it, but hey, honesty is one of the most important things. So I do have a bad reference about licorice, and it is very acid. I definitely don't recommend it. I used to drink it. I lived in Asia, and I actually used to buy tons of it because some chiropractor recommended me a supplement with licorice for adrenal fatigue. And I do like chiropractic, but that doesn't mean that everyone knows everything, because not every, I don't follow the same diet advice that my chiropractor follows, but I still go to them because they're good at what they do. But they're not necessarily following everything they know. So back when I was sick, I tried licorice a lot. I would go to the traditional market and I tried licorice supplements and licorice tea, and I was having it all the time back when I was also, those are all fads. There's, licorice is not good for you and does not give you long-term benefit. That being said, I used to drink it a lot, so I don't mean to, burst your bubble. However, that's really what I'm here to do. Just want to do it respectfully. I respect you even if you're not following the things I'm talking about. I'm assuming you're not following them, that's why I'm making the video. So if you are already following it, then it would be a little bit different of a conversation. But I do respect everyone equally. Everyone's at a different point in their life and health. I'm lucky and thankful for everything that I've come across. And I think about years ago, back to when I was going from doctor to doctor or going from one health plan to another without getting results. I tried all that kind of fad stuff, and one of the things that I tried was licorice. Another one was cinnamon. Ooh, cinnamon honey is supposed to be so healthy. I call BS on it. I tried it a lot when I was sick, and it did not give me long-term results. I thought it was working when I first started trying it because, well, now I know what that was in hindsight, but this was like 5 years ago, maybe more. I'm dating myself, but I had chronic fatigue, and it was brutal. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It doesn't sound that bad. Chronic fatigue, like, it doesn't sound that bad, but it was torture. I couldn't live like that. I almost didn't. And I tried all kinds of things, but anyway, one of the things I was trying, like I'm mentioning, was cinnamon and honey. And I think not only, there's 3 types of cinnamon, which actually, the 2 of them I wouldn't, that's arguable whether they're all called cinnamon. There's cinnamon, and then there's 2 copiers that are just cheaper versions. It's not even the same thing. It's not even the same thing. So what I thought I was taking, what even was it? So I was taking some random not cinnamon that I thought was good for you, and I was mixing it with honey, and I was just, boom, taking it like energy shots. It did not give me good results long term, no way. I would be the first person to recommend it. And that's back when I was trying turmeric and all that. I could go on a rant about turmeric. It's hybrid. Everyone, this upsets some people. This steps on some people's toe. They think, oh no, turmeric's supposed to be the holy grail of health food. Nope. Why? It didn't work. Back when I was sick and dying, I was taking it daily. Did it help me? Nope, never did. So that's another one of those fads that you can just save your money. Don't buy it. Here's a bunch of stuff that is, all these things are alkaline and natural. So we don't need that other stuff like turmeric or cinnamon or licorice or the other fake things that someone is trying to sell. And I'm not trying to sell you this stuff. However, I would. So it's not like I would sell this, and here's why. Because to me, it's unethical to sell anything else. So it's like, I used to own a restaurant and a bar, and it was unethical for me to sell alcohol. I had to get out of that business. It was terrible. So it's ethical though to something natural. This stuff just grows, and to me, you know, it's natural, it's alkaline, it's not hybrid. This is the way to go. This is what you need. That other stuff that you're being sold by companies and gurus, that's just fake, made in a lab, invented by humans. Why did they invent it? What are they trying to do? We already have everything we need. So someone just asked turmeric, turmeric. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, turmeric, whatever you pronounce it, I would not recommend eating it or taking it personally. So, and Carrie, you asked me to spell something. I don't remember which one I was talking about. Damiana, maybe? D-A-M-I-A-N-A. That's just off the top of my head. Should be able to find it. If you can't find any of this, I could, there are some of my one-on-one clients watching, so I have this, and if you're my client already, I would sell it to you for a good price. But I'm not making, that's not the purpose of this video though, so I didn't want to give them the misconception. So, which one of these should I drink? I'm finishing up my raspberry leaf because it's cold, and I need some hot tea for the sake of the video and for the sake of me talking nonstop. Funny note, tidbit about when I got sick years ago. I was a teacher, go figure, and I kept getting, first I was getting chronic laryngitis, pharyngolaryngitis. Not only the larynx, but the pharynx was swollen. And a Eastern doctor, I was in Asia, and this was before I moved, so I only got to, there was one decent doctor actually that I did go to. I know I complain that I went to a bunch of them and none of them knew anything. Well, a couple of them knew something. I just needed to get the whole picture, and there was no one person that gave me all of it, unfortunately, because this isn't really taught in one place, so that's why. Luckily, though, I do remember in hindsight, I had someone tell me the pharyngolaryngitis is chronic. This is pushing 10 years ago, and they said it's going to keep happening. Every single time I get stressed, they said it's going to come back. I didn't listen, and I didn't listen to them. The advice they gave me was work less and sleep more. That's two of the things that I remember that they recommended me. I did not take that advice. I did not listen to them. Don't. I was working 7 days a week, and this sounds like a joke, but I'm serious. I used to walk an hour to work in the snow up a mountain both ways. And I'm not even kidding. I know that sounds like a joke that someone's grandpa would say, but let me explain, because I know that some of you are gonna think I'm full of it. I lived on one side of a mountain, and my work was on the other side. This was in Seoul, Korea. You can look it up, there's a mountain right in the middle. I lived right on the other side of Namsan. Some of you might know, who knows. But I would walk all the way around to work, and I would walk all the way around the mountain, like halfway up and around, and then halfway down, basically. I didn't walk up the peak. I would walk around. But anyway, I would walk an hour to work in the snow. And I was working 7 days a week. that kind of gives you a clue about what kind of personality I have. I don't know what that is, but uh, I, don't- I like to live dangerously. I don't know, but that's just, I just, you know, um, I was working so much that I thought walking there is the exercise. And also, I barely had any money, and I was saving like the whole month. I was saving the bus fare, and even though it was only like $1 or $2 a day, at that time I was really focused about um, making a quantum leap financially. So I was an idiot, basically. That's what in the 20s, prioritizing the wrong things. Definitely the wrong priorities. So I learned a lot from that. I should have, like that doctor recommended, I should have slept more. Why sleeping more? Well, sleep alkalizes your body. You're just laying there, which means, when you work out or when you stress out, your body releases acid, toxins. If you run, your muscles release lactic acid. Also, if you eat dairy, but that's another thing. Also, if you stay up too late, your body gets toxic. So sleeping, the oxygen clears it out. And when you sleep, all you're doing is laying still and breathing oxygen in and out. So the toxins are going out, the oxygen's going in. That's a great situation. Too bad most people barely sleep or don't have the high quality sleep or you name it. And I've had that kind of problem myself. The artificial environment is not helping. The artificial lighting, if I turned some of these lights off, you would see how dark it really is in this room, and it's in the middle of the day. So it's artificially lit. That keeps us up, keeps us wired. Looking at a screen, the blue light from the screen tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. So all kinds of people are having that same issue. And Carrie said, please, I would like to purchase it. Awesome. I will be talking to you soon anyway, and anyone else watching, you can get a hold of me. The links are in the comment or in the description at the bottom if you want a consultation, but only contact me if you're serious. I just want, I take this stuff seriously, and it has to be a mutual respect or it's not going to work out. So, but definitely if you want to, I have a 12-week transformation program, and the links are in there. So I won't waste a bunch of time talking about it here. Just reach out to me if you're curious about that. More than curious. And then I'm gonna make some tea right now before this boiling water gets cold. So I'm gonna finish the raspberry leaf. Have you ever had raspberry leaf tea? I'm curious. It's a very basic tea flavor. There's nothing really special about it. It's not really my favorite, but if you want just something that tastes like tea, the raspberry leaf is good. It's just, to me, it's a good replacement for whatever kind of acid hybrid tea is in the store. Another good one that I didn't mention, the people that have been watching, I'll give you a bonus 11th one, chamomile. Chamomile is a great one. It's relaxing, it's calming. Some of these, like the sarsaparilla. Oh, I don't think I talked about the sarsaparilla. I was saving it for last. Spoiler, sarsaparilla. I'll get to that in a second. Someone else commented. Z-Boy, you're back. Thank you. Good to see you as well. Always good to see some familiar subscribers tuning in. I appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon, because when I go live, then you'll get the notification and you can tune in right away and ask me. So I'm glad you're back on live. Awesome. I'm glad to see you here as well. I appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up if you're watching. At the moment, your orthodontist, oh, here we go. Your orthodontist, you mean at the moment, like right now? Or just in general these days, is trying to explain to me why I need to eat meat because it has essential vitamins. And then is that a smack your head emoji and a male symbol? Could you enlighten him, please? Well, first of all, your orthodontist probably isn't going to listen to me. That's the first thing that you need to realize, is that I'm, some intelligent people don't want to listen to other intelligent people. And when I say people, I mean men, but actually women do this too, so just say everyone. Some people, and I don't know, maybe they're open-minded, but it doesn't sound like it. So I would not expect a doctor to listen to me, no matter what. No matter how accurate or true what I'm saying is, because they went to med school for years, and then they went pre-med, and then they went to med school. Like, I went halfway down that, and years and years of schooling. I was always one of the top students, if not the top student. You know me by now to know that I'm a researcher, and you could say that a geek or a nerd or whatever. I don't call it derogatory. I don't care, but I take research seriously, but I don't expect a doctor that went through all that and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a degree to then listen to someone else. They're not, even though maybe they should listen, I don't expect them to. And in fact, I would be surprised and shocked if they were tuning in, thinking, oh, what does Doug have to say about nutrition? So they're not, oh, I'm getting notifications, distracting. So, I know I didn't answer your question, but that was the disclaimer about certain people aren't going to listen. And I would say, I don't care. I can't save everyone. And really, I'm not trying to save. I'm looking for the people that are already halfway awake or awake, that need a little kick to the other side. And I can help kind of nudge you to wake up, but you're gonna have to already be a certain type. And I notice definitely my subscribers are a certain type of person, and a good type, definitely. I love you, I love all of you. And even if you don't follow what I'm saying, I still care about you. So I care about your orthodontist as a human being, but I'm not gonna put myself in a position to argue with someone that's not really gonna listen, because what would I have to do? I would have to combat all those years of medical school. Like, they've got so many things. It would be easier to teach it to a baby than it would be to teach it to a doctor. Because, a lot of people are stubborn even if they're not smart. Even if they're, I've got a couple intelligent friends, really intelligent friends, that are more on the stubborn side, and because, they're used to people's BS. And so in some ways, they've become like that for good reasons. The same reason that I probably wouldn't listen to your orthodontist. And who's healthier? You know, for me, why would I listen to someone that has less energy than me and is more, you know, more constipated than me and has less of a, is more toxins. So, I mean, this is a hard issue to address, but it's really important because there's so many people out there that would disagree with all this. But what are their results? What are their results? By the way, I had an orthodontist. They did a decent job, but I'm a little bit upset at them for some things they did without asking me. Like they ground my canines off without asking me, and I almost knocked him out. And I was 12. But, oh yeah, here, let's just permanently damage your body image or I don't know. You've got me ranting now, just anything's gonna set it off. All right, so let me actually answer your question now. Let me pretend that you're asking me. Because, you know, if this is gonna telephone down from you to someone else, if I'm gonna try to tell you something and then you're expecting to go tell your doctor and expect them to listen to you, oh man. Here's how that would go. You've got 5 minutes in there. He's got his white coat on or his whatever. Some doctors have their attitude. Some of them don't. Some of them are great people. I've got doctors in my family, so there are good doctors. Maybe you have one of them, one of the small handful. But it's just like anything else. There's a couple of good ones and a whole lot of bad ones. Isn't that what George Carlin said about children? So if you were asking me this, why someone's telling you to eat meat, first of all, this is nothing new. I heard this my whole life. I'm a martial artist. I've been in protein shake. My dad is a wrestler, was a wrestler, and my dad was a football coach and a wrestling coach. So just, you know, you can kind of get the idea of what kind of person that might be like. And I grew up with the, you know, the protein bars, the protein shakes, the muscle milk, the Russian bear, super, whatever. The kind of marketing that super bulk, creatine, get jacked. You know, I've been down that way. And I would never recommend any of that stuff to anyone, first of all. But I mean, that stuff is not meat. But let's get back to the meat. That whole notion of, well, how do we, okay, here's how to debunk what he said in one sentence. Here's how to debunk it. All the meat they're talking about didn't exist. Didn't exist in nature. None of it's natural. So how, here's the second part of that, here is the question. So how did humans make it millions of years without meat? I'm stumped. Oh, wait a minute. I don't eat meat. How am I alive? Give me a break. And here's my second answer to that. And I'm kind of being a jerk about it, but that's just the mood I'm in right now, so forgive me. I'm feeling a little saucy. I don't even know what that means. it's live, so you're getting unplanned, unscripted. So here's the other part of that. Meat, the vitamins in meat can't absorb into your body because it's not the right pH. The pH is important for it to digest. And here's another part. Why does everyone that eats meat have diseases? What about all the essential vitamins? What is that? What is essential vitamins? What are they? And are they being sold by a company, or are they growing out of the ground? Have you ever picked a vitamin and eaten it? I haven't. Have you ever eaten a vitamin? No! You've eaten a pill that they labeled vitamin. What is a vitamin? I still don't know what this is. And if I don't know what it is and I have 150 IQ, then what about everyone else? That's the kind of thing that I'm wondering. Like, I'm comfortable enough with my intelligence that I am okay admitting when I don't understand. And there's so many things that don't make sense. And I've been through college. I killed it. I was honors college, dean's list. In my major, which was psychology, I had straight A's. I usually don't brag about this kind of thing. I'm making a point, so bear with me. My point is that if I can get straight A's in their system, and I was in the science, and I also, before college, I tested really high in science. They make you test and label you and everything. They tested me, and I was in the top 0.5% of the science scores. So I think that my history has shown me that I understand science better than my peers, I guess. I mean, they're the ones that tested me. I didn't make any of this stuff up. So I aced the system, basically. I had flying colors in the university, so then why can't I understand what a vitamin is? Why can't I understand why to eat meat? And also, why don't I eat meat, and why am I okay? So there's a lot of questions that everyone is so sure. I wonder, have they ever gone without meat? For a day? For a week? For a year? For 2 years? For 3 years? For 5 years? Okay, well, I have, so what are they talking about? They read something in a book, and also, I would like to see a picture of them. And I could probably see, now I don't want to make this personal. I'm only saying this to prove a point. I'm not personally, I don't want to make this a personal attack on anyone. I'm just defending the castle, defending the Alkaline for the rest of my viewers, who have gone through the ringer trying every fad in the world. That's why I'm getting defensive, is because I went through years and years and years to find all this out. And you know how I could have done it quicker if I wouldn't have had a bunch of ignorant morons that think they know things telling me what I should and shouldn't consume. And now people are thinking that I'm one of the ignorant morons like that. Nope, no way. I've lived through all this. I've got this. Here is what you need, not meat. This has got what the meat doesn't digest. This will absorb into your body. So why do I have so much energy, but I didn't eat meat? You know what I mean? And someone the other day commented about calories. And they weren't being rude or anything. They were asking, I think it was in one of the mushroom hunting videos, they were asking, what about calories? You know, what they wanted to know what else I eat to make sure I get enough calories. And what I said, and I have a whole module on this in my 12-week program, but calories, what is that? This is another thing. I'm stumped. What is a calorie? Supposedly, it has something to do with energy and losing weight and gaining weight. Well, I'm gonna burst your bubble and just totally, and yeah, a calorie might be something, but is it relevant to you? I don't think so. Is it gonna get you the result you need? Nope. It's a trick. Why? What? Wait. It's a trick? What do you mean it's a trick? Well, what I mean is that they manipulate, it's marketing, it's mind control. They're manipulating the label to shift the attention to off of sugar onto fat. This is a conspiracy I'm talking about. Look it up. They paid a group of people at Harvard. They paid them off. Here, do the study. Oh, Harvard says sugar is not bad, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is how they do it. This is how they pull the wool over your eyes. And they trick you into looking at this instead of that. And when you look at the label, I wish I had a nutrition label in front of me, because I don't look at the label like other people look at the label. I'm not looking for calories. I'm serious. I never look at the label and look at the calories, ever. Do I look like I'm overweight? That's a joke. I mean, so there must be something more to it. This skinny guy's telling me calories are not the issue. I think instead of arguing with me or not believing anything, that people should open their mind and do some research, because I used to make fun of my sister because she was vegan. I wasn't always vegan. I wasn't always vegetarian. I made fun of my sister. This is years and years and years ago. She went vegan in high school, I think. That was, oh geez. I don't even want to date myself again, but it doesn't, but I feel young because I know the secret of what actually gives you energy. Hello, I'm sharing it all with you. It's not meat. It's not energy drinks. It's not meat. It's not what everyone else is doing. Here's something. If someone gives you health advice, or if someone is out there teaching about it, look at them. Look at their physical body. And, you know, we're taught not to judge by the way people look. And I think, yeah, that is good in general. Yeah, that's, you know, you should be a good person and you should judge them by their merits. And you should cut some people some slack, because no one's perfect. I'm not perfect, even though I eat really well or whatever. I might have something dialed in, but there's another area of my life that I'm working on. So I'm always working on something. I'm not perfect, and no one else is either. So it's okay. It's all okay. Yet, the reason that I get defensive about when people have certain arguments against the alkaline diet, like if you go on Google right now, if you search alkaline diet, the first things that are going to come up is that it doesn't work, and then it's BS. And it's like, well, wait a minute. This changed my life. And it's not a placebo effect. I studied science enough to know what a placebo effect is. And hey, if it was a placebo effect, great. As long as you get a good result, get the good result. But anyway, what's a placebo to begin with? It's a sugar pill. Sugar is acid and toxic. So anyway, some people are going to say, I heard someone saying online that they were saying, and this wasn't even a doctor, it was just some random idiot. And, I say that kind of thing, but like I said, I do cut people slack. I give them a second chance. Just because you were an idiot yesterday doesn't mean you have to be one tomorrow. Or I could say they're acting like an idiot and instead of them being an idiot. So it's two different things. One's a noun, one's a verb. But the people, just because you were doing it wrong, I was doing it wrong before, but I was willing to admit that I was wrong, and I was willing to change, and I was willing to do more research when and I think that's the important thing. It's not whatever my answer is, it's that research more, keep an open mind, get the result, get the real result. The result speaks. You can argue with me all day long, and I'm still going to be healthy at the end. So I win. That's what I feel. I win every argument about health because at the end of the day, they're gonna crawl back to their inflammation. They're on medication and whatever else. And I'm gonna be fine. And I'm gonna feel good and I have tons of energy. So, it's not about me, but I'm trying to convey a philosophy so that you can kind of understand who has the leverage in the argument. The person saying to eat meat, or the person who is getting younger by the day, feeling younger in the ways that matter. So, go ahead and eat meat all you want. There's no law against it. I'm not making videos saying not to do it, right? I'm not. I'm telling the truth though. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that the meat everyone's eating aren't naturally. So I'm getting getting notifications. So what was I saying? The meats that people are eating aren't natural anyway. So their point is just not, and the meat does not, the protein and everything, if that's another way they try to talk about protein, the protein from the meat doesn't absorb into your body. Your body doesn't know what to do with that. Why do you think that all men in America above the age of 47, I'm just throwing that out off the top of my head, have a gut that is the exact same size as each other if you line them all up in a row? That all of the middle-aged men all have a gut that points directly out, and I'm not making fun of you if that's you. But why? But someone ask why. Somebody ask the question. What's going on here? That's not normal. That's not okay. That must suck. That must be painful. That's a disease. That's not natural. So what's in there? What didn't come out? All the meat. All the unnatural foods, they're stuck and they're not coming out. So the people that just want to treat, I don't really call myself a vegan just for the sake of the videos I do, because if someone's searching for like a vegan recipe, I think, you know, that's important, but I don't usually claim to be vegan or whatever, because there's all those other vegans that are eating unhealthy stuff, and they're eating unnatural stuff, and that's not what they're doing it to save animals, which is great, and I'm an animal and you're an animal too, don't forget. So save yourself and save also the other animals and yourself, but that's not the point that I started. The point is for health, and anyone can benefit. So no one's going to benefit by thinking that they have to eat meat. Did they ever even try to not? Or did they just blindly believe what they read in a study? Oh, well, this study said you have to eat meat. Oh yeah, who paid for the study? Because I haven't eaten meat in years. And when I ate meat, I was sick. Also, someone left a jerk comment on one of the videos the other day, and I blocked them, but they said, eat some meat. Your teeth are falling out, or something. And I don't know what they're talking about, because I was sick when I used to eat meat. Now I don't, and I'm not sick. So good luck trying to convince me, good luck, that there's more minerals in an artificial mutant animal livestock that someone bred to sell, that there's somehow more nutrients available in that than there is in these natural plants just growing wild. How are you going to convince me of that? You're not. It's not going to work, because the results are what speak. So I know I went on an hour rant about that, so that's that's what you get when it's live. Are you still watching? Who Z-Boy, when you asked that question, or you made that comment and asked that question, but did that answer you? I know I threw quite a lot out about it, but I mean, which one of those things do you think would enlighten a non-believer the easiest? That point is difficult. I usually don't talk to people that aren't interested in this kind of thing about it. Like, I don't go around trying to convert everyone to veganism, or I don't go around announcing that I'm alkaline to people. I'm only doing this online because if you're searching for it, then I want, then I want to talk to you. If you're searching for it, then yeah, let's talk about it. Definitely. But, if you try to enlighten some people that aren't ready, they're going to really be rude, and it's not going to be fun. So, all right. Corey asked, what's the benefit of raspberry tea? Good question. I can get back to you on that. Off the top of my head, that's not one of the million of things that I've memorized so far, but it's a good question. And I just needed to refresh what it is. But can you still, and Corey also asked, can you still gain weight and muscle on an alkaline diet? Muscle is mostly water, and protein is made by your body. So, yes, how do you gain muscle? You lift something heavy, you rip the muscle apart, it gets damaged, and then it grows back together bigger. So the way to grow muscle is by ripping your muscles. Is that going to be fun? No. Is it going to feel good? No. Is it necessarily healthy? Not the way a lot of people do it. However, you can definitely be strong, and you can definitely be healthy, and you can But what I would say is, if I were you, I would be careful about the way you exercise. From my experience as a martial artist, my background, when I was 5, I started wrestling. Wasn't that into wrestling, but when I was 8, I started martial arts. So I've pretty much been doing it my whole life. But when I never really went to the public gym until I was like 30. And when I went to, whatever that big name one, I'm not going to name drop them because I don't necessarily want to help them, but one of those huge chains that everyone goes to, just regular people go to the gym. I would go there and use the treadmill, and I would like walk an hour, then I would jog, and then I would cool down walking for like 40 minutes or an hour. That is the way you're supposed to do, but nobody does that. I would stand there I would be on the treadmill for maybe 3 hours. So I would see a lot of people come, work out, and go. And I did this for, a while. This was a couple years ago. And what I gathered from that, and, I'm not being a jerk to those people. They didn't know any better. But anyway, I'm giving you some tips from my experience in martial arts through the years. And I've been teaching martial arts since 2006. So that's, I have some experience anyway. The way people work out is wrong in America, at least. So what's the right way then? Instead of making fun of these people for doing it wrong, the right way is to stretch, warm up, first of all. Do most people warm up? No. Some people do some of the time. Here's the next thing. Stretch. Do most people stretch? No. I've watched, trust me. I've done martial arts. I've been around the world, in fact. I've lived in other countries. People in Asia tend to stretch more than Americans, definitely. Here, they don't warm up, they don't stretch enough. Maybe they warm up a little, maybe they like pull their hamstring up and do like one stretch and like do that and then, oh, okay, let's do it. That's not how to stretch. You should warm up. That means your body should be totally warm and your heart rate should be up a certain amount. Then you're warmed up and you should start like breaking a sweat. Then you can stretch. And you should stretch out like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Nobody does that. People don't even do 5 minutes. 5 minutes of stretching would be an upgrade for almost everyone in the US. That, I've just from my experience, what I've seen, and also I've seen, my friend owns a boxing gym. I've been around, I've seen people work out, and I rarely see people get thoroughly stretched or warmed up. That's dangerous. You're gonna be decrepit when you get older. And, I've found out the hard way too. Like I've had I've sprained my neck doing Kung Fu. I've hurt my big toe from kicking someone in the elbow is like permanently, I've had some wear and tear, definitely more than my share. I've been kicked in the face probably thousands of times just in my training, not on the street. But, so I've been around, and I would definitely say, if you're gonna exercise, take it easy, warm up, stretch out thoroughly, then and only then exercise, like lifting or running or shredding. Your body is, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, and a lot of people are just hurting themselves, and I follow, one of my business mentors that I follow online has an artificial shoulder, 2 artificial knees, and he was like powerlifting in his 50s and stuff without warming up properly and stuff. So, you know, that's what happens. You got to get titanium surgically implanted and your bones cut off. That's, I don't think any of us want that. I'm not wishing that on anyone. So we'll move on to the next one. Organic Life asked, do you smoke marijuana and is it healthy to smoke it? Do you think it weakens immunity? That's a good question. I've been waiting years for someone to ask this question. What's wrong with everyone? Well, here's why no one asks this question. Because there's propaganda for the last almost 100 years against it. So I can't legally recommend it because you have to have a license to even talk about it. One time even I asked my chiropractor, I've had a lot because I've moved several times. So in one of the places I lived, I asked my chiropractor because I was somewhere else that had legal weed or whatever, and they're also, YouTube might try to demonetize my video if I talk about it as well. They did this to me the other day, and I had to like appeal that I have a video about herbs. It's not even about that. And they said it was 18 over and they were going to demonetize it, even though I'm not even monetized yet anyway. And I was like, wait a minute, this is about seaweed, and how is this inappropriate? So there's censorship going on, for one, and for two, there are legal things saying that when I asked my chiropractor about this, and that was in another state that had, I think, legal what you're asking, and he said, I'm not legally allowed to talk about that. That was his answer. And it was like, that's the FDA for you. Thanks, FDA, for helping keep us safe from nature. Thanks for protecting us and telling us what to eat. And, oh, okay, alcohol is okay? Oh, okay, McDonald's is okay? How does this work? Let me think about this for a minute. So there's conspiracy upon conspiracy for this question. Some people say it was made illegal because of racism. Some people say, and what does that even mean? Well, it means there was a crime bill passed to fill the prisons. Oh, guess whose idea that, I'm not even going to tell you who made up the crime bill, because some of you might get hurt by it. But it starts with a B, and look it up. But anyway, some people say it was to send a certain race or, well, any minority and fill up the private prisons. Some people say it was because of the newspaper industry was competing with hemp, paper, and trees. So there's billions of dollars at stake. And then fast forward to now, and that was what, in 1930s? Here's another funny, not funny, sarcastically funny event that happened in the 30s. They took all the herbalism out of the textbooks. 1937, I believe, 1936 or 7, deleted, canceled. They canceled herbalism in the 30s. wait a minute, why would they do that? Well, I think now we know why. We're living it right now. They started a long time ago. I've known about this. A lot of people have. Connect the dots. In hindsight, connect the dots. And I know that I'm leaving little clues here, and I'm not coming straight out and saying directly what I'm thinking, because it's not a simple answer. It's definitely being censored. It's being censored. So if I answer, is it going to get censored? So then what's the point of answering? If they take down the whole video, or if they demonetizing it and going, bad boy, you're not allowed to make money off of that. You're not allowed to talk about that. Then I'm gonna, this is what's going on in the world. So we've got big tech deciding what's true and what isn't. And I'm not even talking about the other thing that's going on right now in relating to that, because that's not what my channel is not about that. So try to keep it to alkalinity. And so let me try to answer your question as directly as I can. Is it healthy, or does it weaken immunity? Here's how I would answer that. I'm not going to answer those questions exactly, but I'm going to say this. It's alkaline and it's natural. So use your deductive reasoning abilities to... Also, I can say that I use CBD. Are we allowed to talk about that? It's the same thing. No, well, no, it isn't. Here's what they did with CBD, and I have a whole video about this, actually. And it's one of my least popular videos, which either they're throttling the views down or people aren't interested in it. I'm not sure. See, that's the thing. I don't know what the algorithm will let me talk about. It seems like it's okay to talk about banana bread or making a loaf of spelt bread, but when I talk about anything important, the videos don't really go anywhere. And I can't, that's my theory. I can't really tell for sure, but the live videos are going well, so we'll stick to that. We'll keep going live. And whatever works, that's what I'm gonna do. And the reason I did so many bread videos is because that's what was working. That's what people were finding on my channel. So this is the kind of thing I like to talk about. And Organic Life says, I hear you, man, this wicked authority doesn't give us freedom and liberty. Yeah, and it's not their job to give us freedom and liberty. We have freedom and liberty automatically. No one gives it to us. No one takes it away from us either. So what are they doing? Wasting everyone's time? And someone said, okay, so someone in the comments said, FYI, I smoke every day, and I'm curious to know if I should quit during healing and fasting. Okay, let me figure out the legal way to answer this. I'm not a lawyer, but honestly, I would make an excellent lawyer, I think, if I were to go back in time. And I'm definitely not going back to school, though. They got enough of my soul and my money. And did they get me the results I was looking for? Nope. So they got my money, and I got the shaft, basically. I got a fancy degree, and no one cares. So, you're curious to know. I'm are they gonna demonetize me for talking about this? Let's see, I'll blink one for yes. No. Be bold. Okay, good. Oh, yeah, thank you for encouraging me. I would say to continue what you're doing. I would say to continue what you're doing, and I would recommend CBD to people that aren't bold to announce online. But, you know, it depends where you're at. It depends on the country as well. So the laws are different all around the world. There are also certain types of mushrooms that are illegal some places and not illegal in other places. So it's interesting that the government is pretending to care about our health, and then is there any question about McDonald's or alcohol or cigarettes? I mean, that's the real conversation. Why are we making things illegal that were here naturally, but then we man-make stuff that causes problems and it's okay? It must be corrupt. I think I just figured it out. You know what? I figured this out when I was like 10. So if you didn't figure it out by now, then what in the world? And that a plant is illegal, but let's talk about this as long as we're on conspiracies. Everything that I mention is about oxygen in one way or another. What about cannabis then? Does it help with more oxygen or does it block oxygen? Well, look that one up, and I think what you'll find is that it opens the blood vessels, it opens the air passages. Wait, so does that mean more oxygen? It does to me. And what is that high feeling anyway? What is that? That's partly more oxygen. Haven't you heard people, it's good for asthma, and people don't even know. And people with asthma think that it's going to be bad for them. So there's a really lot of misinformation out there. It's crazy. Someone said, sorry, I bursted in laughter with that question. Someone asked if I've ever tried psilocybin and if I've ever tried frying shrooms for dinner. Like deep fried oyster mushrooms, but deep fried magic mushrooms. I love how you worded this. These questions are just funny, and I like them. I thoroughly enjoy the questions. And even if it's a taboo, honestly, that's more interesting to talk about, because that's the information that's being suppressed. Why is it a taboo? Here's an interesting thing, since you brought this up. Where do these come from? Where does this, I read something interesting, this red and white trim, this fur, is like a Siberian mushroom hunter uniform. And I read something that said Santa was a Siberian mushroom, shaman is the word. Shaman. And the celebration on December 25th, what they would do is they would hunt for the Amida mushroom, which is one of them. I mean, there's many of them, and I don't even know all of them. I only know about a couple of them. But there's the one with, like, the one in Mario that has the red cap and the white dots, which I've heard people not necessarily recommend. However, I've heard other people recommend. I can't say on that one, but that's not psilocybin, I don't believe. I think it's a different compound. But there's that red one, that red and white spotted one, is actually supposedly, to this research I saw, is supposedly what Santa was doing the night before on the 24th. And the Christmas festival is, what they did is they brought these mushrooms back and they strung them around the fireplace to dry them. And if you don't know, drying mushrooms, I've heard from, I know some people that grow mushrooms. I have a video about a mushroom farm that I toured, and I've heard mushrooms become more potent and more effective when they're dried. They actually, the reaction, they come out more, the chemicals like become mature when they cure. When they're cured, when they're dried, it actually makes them more potent. So Santa Claus, according to this article, was a shaman, a magic mushroom hunter. And the next morning, which would have been December 25th, is the festival where they eat these, and then the elves come out. And the elves come out and magical things happen. Am I blowing your mind? Here's one more thing. They come down the chimney because in Siberia, there's like feet of snow, and if there's a snowstorm, it blocks the entranceway. So these type of people lived in a yurt. Do you know what a yurt is? It's kind of like a tent. It's kind of like a teepee, and there's a hole for smoke to go out. So they had to come down the chimney, and their gifts were actually supposedly the Amida, I forgot the Latin name for that one, but it's the one with the red cap. So there's a little Christmas Christmas legend for you. And, I heard years ago that December 25th was not really Jesus' birthday and that it was moved to that day. And I've heard other people talking about that too, that's been done a lot, where in early Christianity, the first 1,000 years, they moved a lot of things around. They played the cup game with it and mixed a lot of other religions in. That's a complaint. And it's hard to tell unless you are aware of what's going on, but it's still hard to tell. That's why we need to talk about this kind of stuff. Someone said, Amanita muscaria. So yeah, I still don't know if I pronounced that right, but Amanita muscaria. Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one I'm talking about. Thank you. Thank you for helping. And then someone else said, I smoked CBD and I smoked weed from the street. I would rather smoke weed from the street because it has seeds in it. It used to anyway. Thinking, you're using your brain. See, the way that they prevent seeds from going into that is different than the way they prevent seeds in, let's say, watermelon. So there's like the ancient watermelon that looks way different and has a lot of seeds. And then there's the watermelon with seeds that I would still eat. And then there's even newer watermelon with no seeds. But that's totally GMO, and I would not eat that one with no seeds. But what you're talking about is the street weed with, and that's probably illegal, but that's not my specialty. This isn't a law channel, but I should put a disclaimer that just in case a lawyer's watching. That one, the way they prevent seeds in that is they just don't pollinate it. So it's like they don't keep the men around. It's kind of like chicken eggs, where you don't want a pollinated one, although they do eat that in other parts of the world. Yuck. Not judging, but you. And so that's kind of just like an unpollinated one. So it's not necessarily been hybridized, but you know, you're on the right track, I think. And it's so bizarre. Like, I did a whole video about this because I think it's confusing why CBD and hemp, or like hemp oil and hemp seed oil, what is that even? It's so confusing. And I talked about, well, hemp oil these days usually means CBD, which is it's oil made from the flowers of industrial hemp. And I know that's a mouthful, but that's how they classify it differently. And what is industrial hemp and what is weed? It's the same plant. It's so confusing, but all the difference is that industrial hemp has less than 1% THC. That's it. So they try to get more THC in the weed ones that's called weed or whatever, is a street name, slang. And then the one with less than 1% is just called industrial hemp. They call it that because the stem has fibers that are one of the best materials known to man. I mean, they made everything from this 100 years ago. Everything. So many different things. I mean, Henry Ford made an early Model T out of it, or Model A, or Model T. And I remember seeing an old photo of him hitting it with a sledgehammer. The hemp fiber making the body of the car out of it. So it's fascinating when you start looking up the prohibition. And the two arguments that I've seen, like we've been talking about, were that either it's because of private prisons or because of the newspaper industry. What's that have to do with us? Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And for the government to try to control the business, that's what we call, there's a word for that. It's called fascism, my friends. And the so-called people against fascism don't even know about this. So it's misinformation world. We're in the middle of it. It's so hard to find any information online anymore. You better just experiment yourself. Grow your own everything. Food, tea, grow it yourself. I mean, everything that I still buy this. I'm just saying that's where we're heading, is that the corruption is off the charts, and the food companies are in bed with the FDA. They're making sure everyone gets sick. They're making sure everyone gets cancer. And I'm trying to reverse it, stop and reverse it. Let's go back to, remember back when foods were not made in a factory? I mean, factories are great and all for maybe making a phone, I guess, or making clothing, but food from a factory? How? Medicine from a factory? How are they going to recreate nature? How are they going to recreate photosynthesis? How are they going to recreate the roots of the plant turning iron into liquid and absorbing it into the plant so we can digest it? Can't do it. You can't invent reality. That's people are trying to play God. They're trying to play God, and that's where the disease comes from. And what do we call that? Usually Satan. It's Satan. Who goes against God? Satan. Who says, oh, God wasn't enough. Nature wasn't enough. Let's make, oh, God forgot healthy food. We better make some in a lab for ya. And you know, I'm really overly simplifying. I don't really think like that. I don't really think that, you know, God is some big babysitter with a beard, and I'm just kind of overly simplifying things to make a point. And really, that's what conversation is. Some of my thoughts are too complicated to translate into English. Okay, some good questions came in. Do you think raw, uncooked foods are superior to cooked foods? Well, yeah, in many ways, but it depends. Raw foods versus cooked foods. Okay, great, and you simplified your question. Good. Well, definitely, I would say raw is better. However, I'm not on a permanently raw diet, because I've also heard that lightly steamed vegetables are better than raw. So not like overly cooked, because it cooks off the vitamins that supposedly exist. I've never seen one still, but they're in there. The boogeyman, just like the viruses that no one can see. It's just so that they can easily brainwash you with things that no one knows anything about. Anyway, The Wizard of Oz. Remember the guy behind the curtain? That's what this year is like. I'm the one pulling back the curtain and going, look at these total inept, corrupt morons. Now, I'm not pointing them out personally, individually, but someone did all this. Someone is to blame, but that's not what I'm focusing on. So when you're juicing or fasting, it's going to be better than eating cooked food. You feel it's different. But my channel, the cooked food, I'm not going to make a recipe on how to cut a melon in half, you know. So you don't see when I'm eating raw food, really. You're only seeing when I cooked something, because that's what the recipe means. So by definition, I'm really only putting recipes for cooked food. Although there are some things that you can make raw that are a recipe. Yeah, there are a few. So I would say that after you've done detoxing and everything, I mean, that could take some people months, then you're going to want some cooked food that is similar to something you used to eat. That's kind of the theory of my recipes and my playlist, my cooking playlist. So it's not for fasting, and it's not for detoxing. It's after you are done detoxing. Or, I mean, hey, for almost everyone, just switching over to the food that I'm cooking would be an upgrade, an exponential quantum leap for a lot of people. So I don't want to make it sound like the cooked food is inferior, but juicing, if you just made a fresh cantaloupe juice or fresh, what's one of my other favorite, apple, one of the non-tampered with types of apples, then wow, it's so good that nothing can really beat that flavor. And I think your taste buds don't lie. And also some of my clients are juicing right now, that they're only juicing. So it's definitely recommended. And Organic Life, thank you for all the awesome questions. Keep them coming. Is water fasting good? Is fasting with juices, herbs, fruits, and greens better? Well, that's a good question. And I would preface that with, I have disclaimers for everything, because it's a touchy subject, and, I don't want sued by anyone. And people can fast in the wrong way and maybe hurt themselves or have a bad time or a bad result. So I'd say generically, juicing is easier because you're getting some nutrients. And if you want to know the only fruit and vegetables that I would eat, there's a free Facebook group called Bioelectric Challenge. And there's a link in the description, and there's a link on my channel, on my YouTube channel homepage. So that's a Facebook group though. And so did I answer? So, but for water fasting, if you're taking minerals, for example, sea moss, my tea just got cold. I never made my tea, but oh well. I have an arsenal of tea right here. So if you're taking sea moss and, for example, nettles, I've got some sitting here. Here's a elderberry. We talked about a lot of this stuff. If you're having all this stuff and water, then that'd be good. You don't necessarily need to juice. Answer your question? Great questions, by the way. What type of pots and pans are best to use when cooking? Corey is asking. And don't put toxins into the food? Great question. And what's the best way to reheat your food without using a microwave? Excellent question. So I slowly upgraded my utensils, and I'm still upgrading them. So there's always another level, even for me and beyond. Cast iron is the best. I used to have some other type of pans that I just slowly rotated out. When I would get a new one and then get rid of one, and get another new one and then get rid of one. So I would avoid those non-stick. What is that? Teflon? Oh yeah, it's safe, isn't it? Ooh, how safe is it? Have you ever eaten some Teflon? I mean, what these companies consider safe is on a whole nother spectrum than the reality that I'm living in. So that's just something that I'm not gonna agree on with them. Whoever's regulating this stuff is either doesn't know anything or is totally, absolutely corrupt. I mean, I don't know who it is, but just in my perspective, I can't see another option than those two options. All right, so if you're reheating something, sometimes I use stainless steel. Cast iron is great. The only problem with it is that it's a little heavy and you have to wipe it out, and you can't really let it soak in water. But other than that, it's superior in many ways. and supposedly some iron, you get some of the iron when you eat it. But I mean, that's not really, you should be getting iron through plants and stuff like that. You're not really trying to get iron through your pan. I think that's a little bit grasping at straws for unhealthy people to think they're doing something healthy. But I don't know too much about eating the cast iron bits out of the pan. But definitely cooking out of them is easier, better. So, and you can find them pretty inexpensive. I know sometimes they're expensive, but I found some good cast iron pans for like $9 somewhere. You gotta get lucky, but can't go wrong. Let's see here. And okay, reheating your food, just throw it in the pan, or you could put it in a double boiler if it's not, you could like boil some water and then put the bowl in it, depending on what it is. If it's not simple, just throw it in a pan and turn it on, then, you know, I use the microwave to like heat up like the neck thing that, you know, to help stretch out your neck for neck pain. That's what I use the microwave for, or something like that. I have used it before to eat, but I avoid it because it's radiating the food. Also, the companies radiate some of the food on the way to the grocery store, and they don't put it on the label. It's another secret thing they do and they don't tell us about. All right, let's see, what's the next question? I'm going through here on my other screen. Thank you for all the questions, I love it. Great idea, you should make some raw alkaline dishes, raw tacos, zoodles, pizza, brownies. Ooh, I don't know about that. Raw? I think that the brownies I just made recently, I haven't put the video out yet. The video's in the works, but the caramel brownies I just made are so good. I don't think I can make any raw. But some things should be cooked. So let me backtrack and talk about that. Mushrooms are one of them. Mushrooms should be cooked. So the brownies that I made with mushroom powder, those were those were almost like a supplement. Those were almost like a medicinal brownie, which I think me and someone joked about last time. So fresh is better for some things, but don't eat raw mushrooms. That's something that is not recommended, and a lot of mushrooms should be cooked with high temperature. Wild ones especially, and you can even double cook some wild mushrooms, which means you could, for example, you could saute it and then you could bake it, or you could saute it and then you could grill it, or something like that. So I like cooking and baking some food, but if I'm gonna go through if I'm gonna juice and do a juicing for a week or something for myself, then I can do some raw juicing videos when I'm doing that. I have been feeling like it. I'm gonna do that soon, and so I might be not eating and just juicing for a little while, and then I'll do some videos like that. But as far as like making recipes for raw vegan, like a complicated recipe, I'll see what I can do. I'll keep it in mind. I'll definitely keep it in mind. But I've got a lot of good stuff. I'll write it down for sure. I gotta make sure to write that down to make some raw vegan recipes. Mental note. And I have a laundry list of videos that I have ideas for. So keep them coming. Keep the ideas coming. And, you know, can't have too many ideas. The worst that happens is that it takes me a long time to get around to making it, but that's fine. Okay. Someone asked if I could make butter rolls. instead of bread. Ooh, I have been really wanting to make, yeah, for sandwiches, because I make sandwiches with bread that I buy. There's a bakery that sells 100% spelt bread. There's a link to that in the description, and they're from Ohio, and it's great. It's great bread. If you use my link, I have a special link that will give me a little bonus, like $1 or something. So I appreciate that if you do. It helps me out. And my channel is not profitable. I put a lot of money into this and so far haven't made it back. So I'm not begging or anything, and I'm not going to, but if you do want to help, then I do appreciate. And the link, yeah, there's a link for the spelt bread that is good on sandwiches. The spelt bread I bake is not really for sandwiches. I usually make it with avocado toast, or I eat it with some soup, or honestly, I just dip the bread in oil with some sea salt and thyme. Boom! And that's how I like to eat the homemade bread. But the sandwiches, I buy that bread already made, because there's thankfully an awesome company, and not every bread they have is okay, because some of them have yeast, and I don't recommend yeast. I tried the ones with yeast over a year ago, and it gave me like acid reflux, and that is not a familiar feeling for me. I mean, I've been alkaline for almost 3 years, and so for me to get like heartburn or something, I was like, what? That is not, no, something. So I remember I mentioned it, and it was the bread it was the yeast, because that was the only thing that could have been it. And when you're strict on the diet and everything, lifestyle like I am, if I accidentally have something that isn't, I can easily find out what it was, because there was only, one little thing that it could have been. And everything else I ate was clean, natural. What is yeast anyway? It's an organism. It's a bacteria. Ugh. Is it even vegan? I don't know. Where do you draw the line between a living thing? So yes, I will try to make butter rolls. Yeah, that sounds great. I would definitely put some kind of, if I can make them similar to the way I made the biscuits. Those biscuits were out of this world. So if they end up anywhere near as good as those, I'll be really happy. Because rolls would be nice. Because sometimes I make veggie burgers or sausage sandwiches, and a roll would be better than a bread. Because, when you have a burger on a bread, it's just, not as fluffy and everything like that. I make some killer burgers, and they used to be up on my blog. I'm thinking about turning my blog back on. And I had an online store that had a blog, and you could buy tea and supplements and stuff like that. I might turn it back on if you guys want. I'm only really going to be selling it to people who are watching, because I wouldn't really be advertising it or anything like that. So if enough people are interested, I will turn that back on. But it costs money to run it every month, and I have several actually I have other businesses. So if something is just costing money and not returning, then I have to cut it loose. But if enough people are interested, then I might turn the blog back on. And actually, now since this subscribers are growing, and so I think maybe it would be a good time, but I'll let you guys decide when that's ready. I don't just want to turn it on and waste money on it. Unless it's helping people, and then I'll waste money on it. because that's not a waste. Okay, got some other comments coming in. Let's see. I have made Zoodles. Have you not seen that recipe? I have I think two videos on it. Not many people watched that one, but yeah, we've made Zoodles, which is basically zucchini noodles. And although we cooked the sauce, you could make it raw and just throw, I would heat it up though. I mean, at least just heat it up and throw the Zoodles, the zucchini noodles in at the very end so that they get hot, but that you don't have to cook them. You can just slightly cook them to bring them up to heat, and then that's it. That would be good. Let's see. Solid frying pans. Wow. So Visions sold frying pans, but they got banned because they're healthy? Really interesting. I have seen something that is comparable to cast iron that's supposedly better than cast iron because it is lighter. Like maybe it's carbon steel or something like that. Trying to remember, but I don't have it myself, so I can't say for sure if it's any good. And I'm working on like upgrading my knives and stuff like that. It's taking me a long time. I was living in another country for years, so when I came back here, I had to start all over again, and I had to basically start anew my entire life. So now I have almost every kitchen utensil known to man, so I have almost everything except I don't have a dehydrator, but I don't know if I'm gonna get one. That's just, I don't like a bunch of stuff. I am kind of a minimalist, although not to an extreme, but I tend to be a minimalist, especially compared to the other people around me. Can you make some alkaline soul food and Caribbean food? Yeah, I think that I have already, but let me know some specifics because I'm not from the South, and I'm not sure what I know and what I don't about soul food. My dad kind of liked soul food growing up. He used to eat just stuff that I thought was weird, like turnip greens or something, I don't know if that's soul food, but the biscuits I think were, and the gravy I think was. Let me know some specific soul food that you would want. Maybe cornbread comes to mind. That could probably be pulled off with maybe chickpea flour. I'm gonna attempt those tortillas soon, and telling you, I'm actually not excited. I'm excited for the finished tortillas, but that's kind of what's holding me back right now. So if you're a tortilla expert, come over and help me. So let's see what else we've got. Speaking of bread, I think I got through all the questions. I'm probably gonna call the video to a stop soon because I need some tea, and I've got some stuff going on later that I need to prepare for. Also, I'm gonna cook something. What should I cook today? I wanna go live while I'm cooking more. It's just a lot of pressure, and also I have to prepare really well. Usually the scene of me cooking is craziness, and I edit it together later so that it looks nice and orderly. But what did you say? Yes. What are you saying yes to? I'm not sure which thing that I said. So I want to do more live cookings. I just have to be extra prepared to do it live so that everything is sitting right there, everything is clean. You know, once in a while I'll get halfway through the recipe and the quarter of a cup measurer is in the dishwasher or something like that, and I have to dig it out, or it's got something crusted on it and I have to clean it or something, you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. Doing that kind of stuff live is just too much. And you know, it's difficult to cook and film at the same time anyway, and then to do it live is just, it's hard for a weird reason, and I can't, it's just pressure in some strange way. So I hope that you appreciate that, and because you know, live is, there's a lot of distractions. I mean, people are messaging me and it's coming up on my screen and stuff. So this is maybe like my 5th live video recently, and I'm getting better at them, I hope, but I could improve still, you know, silencing all the distractions, you know, having everything ready. Today I got ready pretty well with all the tea. I'm proud of this little setup I have. Okay, someone said sour cream pound cake. Ooh, interesting. That's something I wouldn't think of on my own. Good idea. I'll have to write that down too in case these chats disappear. Cornbread, okay. That I can probably do. I'm thinking chickpea flour might work, but not sure if it'll be delicious or not. The cornbread is what, just a little salty, a little buttery, not too fluffy, but a little bit dry, but not dry, but like a little flaky. Yeah, cornbread's good actually. That sounds like good. Ooh, a little bit sweet, just a hint of sweetness. I could pull that off. Maybe I could do it right now. Yeah, just start shouting out recipe ideas and I'll make it now. I need to make something that, well, no, I probably don't. If the kitchen is a war zone, then yeah, I'm not sure. A lot of effort needs to go into preparing these videos. In the future, I'm definitely moving to a better kitchen, or renting a better kitchen, just so you know. You can look forward to that. I looked for real estate for months and months, and then finally we just stayed here and renewed again. So I don't own this place, and I'm looking for somewhere with an epic kitchen. That's all I really need. A good kitchen to make it easier, that way I can film it, I can have everything organized properly. You know, I think that would improve the channel exponentially, because if I have I can just flip on the camera and go if I have everything set up well. But that's not the case right now. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You don't even want to know. But it would be funny behind the scenes. It would be funny, actually, to see someday. So, okay, sour cream pound cake sounds interesting. Fried dumplings, like Asian dumplings? Or what are dumplings? I'm trying to think of what dumplings are in America. Dumplings. Is it like a biscuit? What's the difference between a dumpling and a biscuit? Is a dumpling just, okay, I remember something called chicken and dumplings way back in the day that has kind of biscuit just plopped on the top. Is it basically biscuit batter plopped like cobbler, but not sweet? I'm curious about that. Barbecue ribs. I have done barbecued steak. Check out my video for that. That might be the closest I can get to ribs. And I do make my own barbecue sauce. What is that? Chick-fil-A mock sandwich? Or like a fake Chick-fil-A sandwich? Like a breaded fried chicken sandwich, or like a chicken breast sandwich, because I have something like that already, a really good chicken sandwich that some uptight vegan reprimanded me in the comments for calling it a chicken sandwich when there's no chicken in it. But I was just trying to make a good title so that people can find the video and click the video. I'm not trying, that's all I'm trying to do here. I'm not, so a breaded fried chicken sandwich like Chick-fil-A. Okay, what do they put on theirs as their toppings? Chick-fil-A was never really around until I already went vegan, I think. It was never around the area I grew up, but now it is, but I was vegetarian already, vegan before that. So I'm not sure what they taste like, but I can definitely do a breaded whatever sandwich, probably mushroom, or we can make the fake chicken sandwich from the other video and then bread that and cook it again. That would be interesting. So there's like an enoki mushroom sandwich that I make. Check my video for that in the meantime. You might like that, but okay, that's a good idea. And I do like a good sandwich. I do make a lot of sandwiches with that spelt bread. Usually, sometimes I make like a hemp mayo or a avocado ranch dressing, which we did that, and the video is not done yet. We made like a blooming onion, and I didn't post the video because it's not as good as my other videos, I thought. So that one has some avocado ranch in it though. So I might put that video out just for the avocado ranch, because that's very easy. And that's something that unhealthy people really like. You could win them over with a healthy version. Empanadas, ooh, that sounds good. What is an empanada? Is that like, how is that different than, oh, is an empanada a sandwich? I've been researching some of the Mexican dishes we've been talking about, and I've got some great ideas. So I've looked up tamales, and I've also learned some history on them too, which is cool. So tamales, I'm also gonna make the birria tacos soon. I know what empanada is, a type of baked or fried turnover. Okay. What's usually in the middle of it? Meat? Or is it sweet? I think I could probably make some good tamales. I looked into those. I don't know if I've ever had any actually in real life. But I don't know if I'll wrap them, I'll have to go buy corn husks just to wrap them in. That's kind of annoying. But since I'm against using corn, but it's funny that corn husks, I grew up on a farm, and that's just the kind of stuff that you would just throw away or give to the pigs or something. And it's funny that they actually use them to make the wraps. It's brilliant, and it gives it a cool look too. I do love how the tamales look. It looks so cool. So I'm looking forward to trying those out. So empanadas, I'll check those out. There hasn't really been a Mexican food that I didn't like. Honestly, I think I love almost everything. As long as, there's not meat and dairy in it, which pretty much cuts almost all of it out. But I will remind everyone, before the Spanish, they didn't eat that stuff. So the Spanish are the ones that brought all the fake meats. Breaded okay, let's see. Alkaline pasta noodles from scratch. Oh man, I've made udon from scratch and didn't really go well. So that will take some serious work to figure that out. Or a machine. Probably a machine would make it easy. That's a good idea, because I'm a ramen fan. I love ramen noodles. I used to live in Tokyo, and the part of Tokyo that I lived in was like the ramen capital of the world. So I was spoiled, but then again, on the other hand, I wasn't spoiled because it hurt my health. And oh man, I wrecked my stomach one time by eating too much ramen. Yeah, really, it was a serious problem. Like I was debilitated from the next day, it felt like I tore my stomach. It was terrible. I usually don't overeat, but man, Japanese ramen, so good. It is junk food though, it's not healthy. And I'm talking about like homemade ramen, not even instant ramen. That's obviously junk food, but even like real homemade ramen, Japanese people consider that junk food. And that's surprising because it's healthier than a lot of American food I've seen. Ground beef and cheese. Is that what's in the empanadas? Okay, I can make some kind of mushroom something for it then. Seafood gumbo. I've heard of that, but I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to write this stuff down. Pierogi. Ooh, I've definitely had pierogies. Those are, I think, my ancestors were making that kind of stuff. Ooh, I had the best pierogies in New York City at Vaselka. It's one of those restaurants in the East Village, and they had at one point blueberry pierogies. They were so good somehow. I would love to make good pierogi. I think that'd be, I could do pierogies, definitely. Yeah, that's doable. That's even easier than like the Asian dumplings are more difficult because they're really thin. Pierogies have kind of a thick, doughy texture. Well, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Ooh, I could even put the mashed chickpea, like the mashed potato, in the pierogi and make like that, because I know some pierogies are like potato inside. You're getting me excited. Oh, you're getting me excited. Lasagna, someone mentioned that last time. That's a challenge, but I'm up for a challenge. Definitely to get the lasagna noodles good, that would be a challenge, because lasagna used to be my favorite food when I was a child, now that I think about it. So yeah, I would be pretty picky, but I make some amazing red sauce, tomato sauce, so I'm sure I could nail some amazing lasagna. As long as I get the noodles correctly, they would be good. As long as they're thin enough, because you know, spelt can be kind of heavy if you do it, you know, stuff like that. The spelt can sometimes be a little dense. I'm not sure. We'll have to try it out. Fajitas, hey, as long as I do the tortillas well, we can definitely do fajitas, no problem at all. We've got tons of stuff that would go on fajitas well. We make a really good refried beans. They're not beans. We make a really good Mexican rice, which is not rice. And oh man, guac is amazing. Guac is a good one that's just good all the time. And then that's the stuff on the side, and maybe like a little salad or like a wedge of plum tomato. What else am I missing from Mexican food? Cilantro is debatable. It used to be on the list and now it isn't. So some people still eat that, but there is something called culantro that is like a long, it looks kind of like a dandelion leaf in a way. It's like a wild herb that tastes like cilantro that you can cook with, that is natural. Quesadilla, yeah, as long as I get the tortillas done well, I could do quesadillas, I could do fajitas. Oh, fish and chips I actually used to make before I was vegan. when I used to own a restaurant, I had a pretty killer fish and chips, but that's not healthy. I wonder how I could pull that off. I'm not sure if I could get that flaky fish, that flaky like layered fried fish. I'm not sure if I could pull that off, but if I do, you'll be the first one to know. And chicken parm. Ooh, that could be done. Ooh, that would be really good. I could make that fake chicken sandwich in the one video I already have, bread it, fry it, and then put tomato sauce all over it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, that sounds good. I would make that right now, but I think I'm out of tomatoes at the moment. Oh yeah, that's something I would whip up right now, because I'm hungry. Chicken parm. Oh, that sounds so good. Obviously not real chicken, but you know, that tomato sauce. The trick is the herbs have to be fresh. The real trick is using cherry tomatoes, because they're hard to find these days. Poutine. That's funny. That's one of the last things, that's one of the last like non-alkaline things I ate. I think that's the last thing I ever ate at a restaurant is poutine. I was in Canada visiting, and I had a cheat day or whatever, and had vegan poutine at some vegan restaurant, and yeah, it was. I don't know why people like that so much, but that's not what I would call amazing. But you know, it's munch, it's heavy. But yeah, I could maybe, if I could get the French fries right, maybe out of some butternut squash or something. But yeah, I don't know if it'll just be the same. I don't like stretching. Like I like whatever I make to be exactly like what it's supposed to be. I don't want people to know that it's alkaline or know that it's vegan. I just want it to be good. So if I try too hard, then I'm not sure if it'll work. So poutine, I do have gravy. I don't know if I could get the French fries though. It sounds good right now though, even though that's a starchy blob. Will you be writing a cookbook for sale? Yes. People have been asking me, and just keep asking me and keep nagging me about it, and I'll make it. I've definitely got enough recipes, because I have over 50 recipes on my channel, and I have more recipes on my old blog, and I'm sure there's stuff that I haven't documented. So I'm trying to get to 100 recipe videos, and then maybe I can step back a little, but I'm pushing towards 100, just so you know. It'll take a few months, but we'll get there. By next year, definitely by the end of the year, definitely I'll have 100 recipes. Do you only use spelt and rye flour? No, you can use quinoa flour. However, it sometimes tastes like dirt, or, you know, if you do use quinoa flour, I only would use like 10% of the other flour just to mix it on in. I often mix something in with my spelt flour just so that it's not straight up spelt, because sometimes, depending on the consistency I'm looking for. So quinoa flour is a little fluffy, but yeah, like if you put too much, you'll taste it. It tastes like, honestly, it tastes a little bit like dirt. There's no other, I can't think of another way to say earth. It's very earthy. Also, I've tried amaranth flour. That is even more earthy than quinoa, but it tastes healthy. It tastes like the health food that people usually assume is gross. It tastes kind of weird, amaranth that is, but that just grows wild. So if stuff hits the fan, you could always forage for amaranth. What else? I sometimes have used, let's see, almond flour. Although almond's one of those things that's not on the list anymore. So it just depends if you think you have authentic almonds, which I won't even go into that right now, but corruption again all the way around. Oh, okay, Organic Life, teff flour, good one, I forgot about teff. Kamut, I have not used those myself, so I can't speak for them, but yes, those are permitted. And let's see, burdock root crawfish, whoa! Brilliant! I love burdock root. It grows all over at my dad's farm, and I could go get some. I think it's too late, but next year we'll have to try that out. Very interesting. Thank you for that. Very cool. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, yeah, I'll try that out. Do you ever cheat or treat yourself with food not on Dr. Sebi's list? Like go to a vegan restaurant and pig out for one day, or are you super strict? Well, I guess people would consider me super strict, but I don't consider it strict because I feel legitimately bad when I eat other stuff. I'm not doing this for any other reason. Like I legitimately feel the negative effects. So I don't want to do that to myself. And for me, in my perspective, I can understand people, you smell something, you get hungry, you salivate, you want to bite into it. But I was in so much pain for so many years, and I suffered so much and so long, and I basically almost died. So I'm not interested in cheat days. Why? To taste something, honestly, at the beginning, when I first started going alkaline and stuff, when I first started, quitting going here, quit going there, quit eating that, I was doing that for years trying to figure it out to begin with. But then when I finally I knew what alkaline, or I knew what it was kind of, which then I still didn't know what it was because Google has a lot of wrong info and a lot of fake alkaline diets out there. But anyway, once I kind of knew what was up and I started going for it, I still went to restaurants here and there at the beginning, before I considered, when I went alkaline, I kind of, in my mind, I start that clock from when I stopped going to restaurants. Because, there was a while where I was still doing both or trying to figure it out, a long while. But that's why I'm making these videos, to help you cut some of that learning curve down. The learning curve was brutal, and I was suffering during it, which makes it even worse. I was in physical pain and stuff like that. So everyone's in a different situation, doing this for a different reason. Some people have this health problem or that health. Some people it's not urgent for them, and other people it's urgent. So for me, I feel like it's not worth it cheating, because what I found out is my cooking is better than every restaurant that I can go to, honestly. And I'm not saying I'm the best chef in the world, but I'm definitely better than whatever I would eat at before. So my cooking is going to be better. So why would I pay? And I really was struggling this for a while, to when finally I went alkaline actually helped me finally quit going to restaurants. Because for a while I was getting frustrated going to restaurants, and this restaurant costs this much, and you get the food and whatever, but then another restaurant is triple, but I know how much the food cost. I own a business, and also I've owned several businesses, so I know what stuff costs for them, and I know what labor costs, and I know like what it's worth, and then also I know what it's going to do in my body. So when I weigh that all, and I'm a very analytical person, as you can tell. So when I weigh all this out, I feel like I'm paying money. It's not going to even taste as good as what I could make myself. And it's going to make me feel bad after. So it's like strike one, strike two, strike three. I haven't eaten at a restaurant in about 3 years. Not one. So, and I'm not doing it to be cool. I'm just telling you what's been the result. And at the beginning, I was kind of afraid, like, oh no, my social life, or something like that, was like an inkling in the back of my head, kind of holding me back. But once I just did it, it was easy. I mean, someone's going and eating in a restaurant and drinking beer. I don't want to be there. I don't want to see them. I'm just gonna, you know what eating in a restaurant with me would be like? It would be torture. Because all I'm gonna do is either hold it in, or I'm gonna tell you, yeah, that's hybrid, or that was whatever. Like, it's hard to be in those situations, so I just don't put myself in that situation. Because I don't want to nag people to go alkaline that aren't interested in it, so I don't want to be around when they're eating. Because, I'm gonna cringe. What other people eat is cringy to me, because I know what it's gonna do biologically, biochemistry in their body. It's like I almost have X-ray vision in a way. That's just a way for me to explain it. You know what I'm trying to say. Well, I can see what's happening in their body just by seeing what they eat, or even just by looking at them. When you level up like this, you can start noticing some people have a certain disease or a certain personality from far away. You can notice people from 100 yards away, and I could probably guess what they eat. Because it's science. It makes sense. And once you get into it, and once you feel it, once you've been down the rabbit hole and feel it for yourself deep down, it's a knowing. And people can come along and try to distract you or tell you you're wrong, and you won't care. Because you feel it. You've got the strength of minerals deep down. That's what you need for the energy. Someone said, Z-Boy asked, could we, how to use sea moss to regenerate teeth that have cavities? Well, you could get an electronic toothbrush and just dip it in the powder. And are you the one that's been asking me every live? I'll find that list. If you get into my Facebook group and post in there the bioelectric challenge about the tooth powder, and I'll give you I did find that. I didn't memorize it, but I did. I have that somewhere. But yeah, I think that would be a good try. However, sea moss powder tastes like the worst thing that I've ever had. That's why I take it in capsules. Actually, raw is much better. I feel like raw has no flavor. But there are some powders that can help your teeth. I can't remember if sea moss was one of them, but I do remember someone, if it wasn't you, asking in a couple of the lives, and that was like the one question that I didn't have the answer to in the one. So I'll post that later in a comment. Just remind me. I do have a list of like every alkaline herb, and it's somewhere. It's hard to find that kind of info. So when I lost track of where it was, I'm gonna just print it out or something and keep it in person. But it is a really long list, and not everything is to ingest. Some of the stuff is just maybe for your skin, or there's so much info that we could make live videos every day until the end of time, and there'd be still stuff to learn. But I'm gonna cut it short. I have to eat because I have stuff going on later, and I'm definitely fasting right now. Totally empty, but I had fun answering your questions, and I learned some things. Thank you for helping out. Thank you for all your questions. Organic Life, you rock, for all of your feedback and all of your recipe ideas. I'm going to take a screenshot of those in case they... I'm trying to take a screenshot. Oops. Oh well. Can't seem to take a screenshot right now. But I'll try to check these later, this list of food ideas, recipe ideas you have. That is awesome. For me to have a long list of potential recipes, that helps me a lot, because I'm trying to make videos. Ideally, I want to make them every day, and even I would like to do more than one a day, honestly. But the preparation, I have to, in order to do a video every day, that's 30 videos a month. That means I'm gonna have to have like 90 video ideas to be able to actually have 30 that would make a good video. So I appreciate that. That's awesome. I have like a list of 10 or 20 ideas just from here. And yeah, I won't be able to do all of them, but I'm sure I'll be able to do several of these. So keep tuned in, and I'll bring them as soon as I can. I guess I should really work on those tortillas, because once I can make tortillas, then it looks like I can make several more things. So thank you so much for all the interaction live. It's really fun. And oh, you're not on social media. Okay. You could see my Facebook pages, but you wouldn't be able to see the groups. And honestly, I commend you for not being on social media. That's smart. And, you know, I am on social media a lot for my job, basically, to my career. But if it wasn't for what I'm focused on, I would not recommend being on here. But then again, I'm thankful to have social media to be able to reach out to people all over the world. So it's great that we get to use it for health and try to, you know, be healthier with it. I know that's not what most people use it for, but we still can. And I appreciate all your comments. It's been another amazing live. There's a lot of feedback, and I'm really happy with my following, my subscribers. For the longest time, I couldn't really see. I could see it succeeding long term, but I couldn't see between what was right in front of me and the long term. I'm really good at predicting long term. I'm dead on almost all the time. If you need a psychic or something for that, reach out to me. I usually don't talk about that kind of stuff, but it's that in between now and the long term that I can't sometimes foresee, like right when I'm in the middle. But I couldn't see what my following was going to be like. Like, who's going to be watching this? I know most people aren't interested in this kind of thing, so I wasn't sure, are these people out there, and who can actually listen with an open mind? Because I talk about a lot of controversial things, and will continue to do so just because I like to, and I like to learn something. I like controversy sometimes, as long as the other person isn't being a total narcissistic you-know-what, then we don't have to always agree. Arguing can be good, and that's why I love these lives. Even though we haven't been arguing, it's back and forth, and there's an exchange going on. So, oh, someone just got on. You're late. Oh, that's okay. Welcome. Welcome. Better late than never. You can ask me your questions now. I didn't sign off. I'll give you a couple more seconds if you're late. But then I'm going to tune off, and quickly throw something together to eat. This is what I end up eating is just whatever. But that would be boring if I showed you the whatever that I was eating, just dates. Just eat a bunch of dates. That doesn't require a video. So, all right, well, if there's no more questions, I had a really good time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Someone said, just wanted to, Joy, great name, by the way. Just wanted to say thank you for all the alkaline recipes. Oh, I'm at your service. You know, when someone says thank you to me, it makes me so happy. Because I felt that was I felt that was a true thank you. But but I appreciate that because there are a lot of ungrateful people in the world that are rude. And so when someone comes along and appreciates it, it really makes it worthwhile. And it lets me know that I'm on the right track because, you know, I'm making these videos for you. You know, I'm already doing this by myself, so I don't really need to talk about it. But I know how hard it was to shift over. That's why I'm doing this, and that you notice that. That's great. That's great. I know that's just a small thing, but it means so much. Someone just said, Dr. Strange said, "What is this alkaline diet? Do you eat batteries?" And actually, that's awesome because I don't know if you're trolling me or just being cute, but that's awesome actually because that's kind of exactly right. Although that's a good way to understand it actually, because alkaline, the only thing people know about alkaline is the batteries. And what is battery? What is that? It's electricity. It's energy. So that's why I have so much energy, even though I don't eat the same calories or I don't eat whatever people think I should be eating. That is a misunderstanding. But yeah, alkalinity equals power, like a battery. Plug it in and blast off. So plugged in. That's what these teas, that's a good analogy. And actually, I usually make that analogy on my own. So thank you for bringing that up about alkaline and batteries, because usually that's my way to get people to understand what it is. Basically, acid is, and I'm overly simplifying this, so if you're a know-it-all like me, this isn't gonna encapsulate everything, but to simplify it, acid is corrosive and deadly or destructive, and alkalinity is energy or power or life. You can think of it like that. So on the alkaline side, we've got oxygen, we've got iron, which is what are the minerals that we need to get muscles, and energy. As you can tell, I have plenty of it, and I actually have maybe too much energy. I don't think there's a too much, just, you know. I used to have chronic fatigue. Can you even believe that? It's funny to me now, almost, although it was not funny at the time. And I mentioned that earlier in this live already, that chronic fatigue sounds like a stupid name. It doesn't sound that bad, but it was really bad, actually. Living through it was terrible. I would never wish that on anyone. But just to give you an idea of, you know, the battery, the alkaline, energy, that's what I feel like now, because my pH is up. because I'm consuming things with minerals like all this tea and everything. A lot of people think that meat has the minerals. Your body can't absorb that. That's why people that eat a lot of meat are just slow, maybe overweight, maybe have brain fog, maybe have cancer and other things. It builds up over time because of its acid, and it's not. So the minerals don't get absorbed, and you don't feel the effects of them. The whole point of iron is to feel it, to feel the power and the electricity like in a battery. Alrighty, well that was a good rant for me to end on. Thank you for asking. Oh, someone else asked what the longest water fast I've ever completed. Honestly, I think some of my clients have done longer water fasts than I personally have. Trying to think. The most recent one I did was 3 days. So not that long, honestly, and I got good results from it. But if, people with some serious health problems or some seriously layered up toxins throughout the body, seriously low energy or other XYZ going on, the longer the better for if someone's having pain, inflammation, and disease, then fasting longer would be better. However, you do want to check with someone, if it's not your personal doctor, someone around you just that knows you, so that you don't just randomly faint or something and fall down the stairs, or I don't want to just send you off fasting without a little bit of a warning. However, most people have never fasted and should definitely try it. Absolutely, but be careful. You should have some kind of minerals during it, not just water. You can have these teas during a fast, and that I wouldn't consider that breaking the fast. So there's no sugar or anything in it. Just don't put sugar, or obviously no sugar, but no agave or anything while you're fasting, because the sweetener will break the fast. But just the tea is fine. So hope that answered your question. If you have any more questions in the replay, if you're watching this later, comment below and I will answer them in the comments. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate this. I'm going for trying to monetize this channel, and what I need is the watch time to be 4,000 hours. That's the prerequisite. I already got 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. And now I need the watch time. So I appreciate, watching my videos. If you just leave them on in the background while you sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But once I get to 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period, so they have a prerequisite. But then eventually I will be monetized, which means I'll be able to make money just from, I won't have to sell you anything or anything like that. I'll just be able to watch from the ads, from people watching. And that would be amazing. That would be amazing if I could, earn something doing this. It would just motivate me that much more. However, I've been doing it for 5 years without making money, so I guess I'll just do it anyway. But it would be nice for me, and I think it will be nice for you too, because I'll try to make it, I want to share the wealth. I'm generous with certain things, and I'm definitely going to be sharing. I have some nonprofit projects in the works, so any kind of money that I make, some of it will be going for that, and I talked about that in my last live, and I'll be announcing it officially in the future. So someone said, Arnold became a vegetarian. I saw that. Isn't that crazy? Wow, what a person after all that. But yeah, I wasn't always a vegetarian, so it's good to see other people coming around like Arnold. I won't do my Arnold voice. I almost just did, but in case I haven't practiced, so don't want to do a botched Austrian accent. On Amazon, they have a documentary saying saturated fats are good. I eat a lot of saturated fat. Certain ones, though. Brazil nuts, coconut oil, walnuts, avocado oil, let's see, avocados themselves. There are some fats that I eat a lot of. You wouldn't think of it by looking at me, but I do eat a lot of fat. Just because people don't understand really how it works, obviously, because the people out there trying to be healthy, trying to lose weight, and I'm over here trying to gain weight. And if you want to lose, if anyone watching wants to lose weight, I'm your guy. I can help you. It'll fly right off. I'm totally confident about that. Someone said, Dr. Strange said, how do I make sense of it all? Yeah, I know. That's the problem, really. And that's why I have this channel. Because it's so frustrating with all the misinformation out there. And there's also a bunch of fake alkaline diets that aren't what I'm doing. So that makes me upset too. That like, there's some people out there drinking lemon juice and saying it's alkaline. And it's like, please stop. The first things I look for to try to tell, and thank you for laughing along with me, I am having some fun. I do take myself seriously, but I also make jokes. I try to balance it out so that it's entertaining. But you know, sometimes I'm really too serious, and sometimes I'm laughing hysterically. So that's what you get live. In my other videos, I try to keep it a little more even. But I like to have fun, so I appreciate you LOLing along with me. Making sense of all of this, though, took me years, and honestly, that's why I'm making these videos, because there's fake alkaline diets out there that I think are just there to discredit what I'm actually doing and trying to spread the information of, which has the healing potential that I can't even legally say what it can do, because that's how effective it is. And so I have to just call it, honestly, I don't even like calling it alkaline diet, because there's all those fake ones. Here are the first two things I check. Does it have lemon, and does it have broccoli? If the diet is pretending to be an alkaline diet but has lemon and broccoli, throw it in the garbage. That's not what I'm doing at all. And it's a little frustrating because it's holding a lot of people back from actually feeling better. Because like if I go back in time, when I was struggling with all this, when I was sick, the reason I was struggling so much is because none of the diets worked. They were all fads. Gluten-free and alkaline this and that. It was all BS except for basically what Dr. Sebi was doing. So that's the alkaline diet, I guess, that I'm talking about. But then again, I do want to warn that there are other alkaline diets that have like lemon and stuff that I just stay away from it. It's totally BS. I don't know why, though. Where do they even come up with anything like that? It's not, I mean, it doesn't even get you a result, because fundamentally it doesn't make sense scientifically. And there's no magic here. We're not going against God. We're not going against the universe. This all fits in to God or the universe. It's all scientific and provable. It's not my whim. It's not just my experience. Thousands of people did this before I ever found out about it. I'm just lucky that I found it before I suffered any longer, because I was dying at the time. So my duty is to share it with other people who maybe didn't shift over yet or are in the middle of it, and to just help you along. So I have a 12-week transformation program for people that really want to go into it, and I one-on-one can coach you, but that's not for everyone. So, and like, I'm not trying to sell that to everyone, that's just going to be too much work for one person. But for just the people that are serious about it, you can reach out to me for one-on-one coaching, and I can talk you through all that stuff. Because yeah, this is the disinformation age. Definitely. Someone said, oh yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to talk about now, that when I do talk about it though on my channel, because it becomes relevant often. But yeah, back when I was feeling terrible and sick for years, I only bring that up because it's a stark contrast to how I feel now. I'm a totally different person. I mean, it's crazy. So if you want to gain weight, why don't you do weightlifting? Oh yeah, well, well, not that it's any of your business, but it's a decent question. The reason is that I'm a martial artist, and I sprained my neck, and then I hurt my shoulder, and I was messed up for a while. So this shoulder is really messed up, and it's something I go to the chiropractor for, and I'm way better than I was, so I'm almost there. And I'm a drummer too, so I'm a drummer and a martial artist, so I need my arms. But yeah, for the past few years, I've had some challenges. I've had my own challenges. It's not the rotator cuff. It's actually, it was a pinched nerve, and then I basically like froze off my muscle on this side with ice packs, because it hurt so bad that I thought I was dying. And I never experienced anything like that. Even when I sprained my neck, wasn't that bad. I mean, but the reason that I don't lift is because my part of my neck and my shoulder in tandem are, every single time I go for it, I pinch nerves and stuff. So yoga is better, stretching, that's what I do now. I have my own deal with my chiropractor, and yeah, there's work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done for myself. I used to be a little bit more shredded, but oh well. I mean, my appearance isn't as important as my life. So yeah, I lost some weight, but I feel amazing. So I think it was a good trade-off. And I'm starting to get back into the arm and everything, you know. Raw! Someday I'll have the beach body back. Thank you guys for all the interaction. I love it. I've got to go though. I think I've been 3 hours live. So I've hit my I've hit my limit, and I need some more tea, and then I need to eat. So it was great to talk to you. I'll be live again, and I'll do some live cooking as well soon. Thank you for tuning in, Dr. Strange. Nice to meet you as well. It's maybe my first or second time seeing you live, and everyone else that stuck it out and asked a lot of questions. Joy, you're awesome. Z-Boy83, again, you rock. Corey, great to see you again. Thanks for asking questions. Organic Life, you're awesome as well. You had some good questions. Carrie, nice to see you here as well. And anyone else that was, Selena, thank you for asking questions. Oh, I didn't answer that. Selena asked, which are the best apple? I don't know if you're still watching, But most apples are good except Pink Lady, Gala, and whatever that other one that's the mass-produced one that they have everywhere. Oh, there's one more, Fuji, I think. Yeah, those three you want to stay away from, but all the other ones are good. And odds are, if someone you know has an apple tree, it's one of the good ones. So, any other questions I missed? Thank all of you so much. And if you were watching and didn't comment, thank you also. I appreciate the watch time and I appreciate the interaction too, especially during this ridiculous time we're living in. I mean, I'm thankful to be able to gather and share information in one way or another because they can't stop us from communicating and stop us from gathering. You kidding me? So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you again in another live. I have some videos coming out soon. I've got some brownie with some caramel brownies, alkaline vegan, of course. I've got some other stuff I'm working on. So those will be out soon. So thank you for subscribing. And I've really been getting a lot of subscribers recently. I love it. I appreciate it so much. It makes me feel like I'm on the right track and that we're actually on the mission and we're making a difference. Good to know about those 3 apples. You're awesome. Talk to you soon. Oh, thank you so much for saying so. You're awesome as well. And I literally love everyone watching. I know I'm a very loving person. Don't take that as a sign of weakness though, because, you know, I am very loving, but at the same time, some people think that I'm just some wimp vegan that they can pick on, and they've got another thing coming. But for you guys, I love you unconditionally because you guys rock. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing night, and have it on purpose, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. All right. That went well. What do you think? Anyone that didn't leave a thumbs up yet, please do now. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Carla. Make sure to tune in on the next one. I'll be back live again soon. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, cool.